Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA, episode number 196. I am Brendan. All right, Bellator 288, Nemkov versus Corey Anderson. We are going to cover the main card here. Just went down here in Chicago. I sadly did not go, or kind of. I mean, I'm glad I didn't go because I'm able to just record and then go to bed, and I don't have to drive. Oh, and get home at 1 frickin' a.m. So, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the rest of the main card here. If you're looking for the prelims, I'm going to put that out tomorrow. And then obviously the UFC and everything else will come there. So if you're interested in those things, subscribe to the channel so you know when the next videos are coming out. Let's get started. All right. Vadim Nemkov beating Corey Anderson in the rematch. The highly anticipated, heated rematch between the two. The first one, Corey Anderson was winning the fight. He did pretty well, and then he ends up clashing heads with him on the ground during ground and pound. It was not intentional. In fact, Nemkov pushed Corey's arm out of the way and caused his head to fall onto him. So it was caused by Nemkov, not Corey. But anyway, Corey doesn't make $1 million because of that shit. So Nemkov started out with his low kicks really well in the first round. Anderson in on a single. Nemkov spun out of it and escaped, landed a back fist. Anderson treetops and got a takedown, but Nemkov stayed active and got back up. So they didn't count it as a takedown, but last time I checked, when someone picks you up and you go down on all fours, I mean, maintaining control is not part of that shit. It's just you went down, whatever. They didn't count it as a takedown. I don't care. It doesn't matter anyway. Nemkov landed, Anderson was winging really big punches and lunging. It did not look good. I don't know what the fuck his game plan was. I really don't. It looked like crap. Overall, the first round was all Nemkov. He ended the round with a spinning kick that glanced off the back of Corey's head. And then he went for a kick with Corey grounded. Like, Nemkov tried to kick Corey in the fucking head when Corey was down on the ground, almost on all fours. What the fuck? And Nemkov did some other dirty shit in this fucking fight, too. So we're going to talk about that. Anyway, first round goes to Nemkov 10-9. Corey was staying in the pocket and swinging with Nemkov, which was not a good plan. He was doing that in the second round. He was staying inside the pocket, exchanging for way too long, and not moving his head really well, and also not transitioning for takedowns. Corey was really loading up on hooks. I don't know what he was doing. Nemkov was able to stay on his feet and outland Corey yet again in the second round. So I had him up 20-18. Third round was a better round for Corey. He was able to land, and there was a clash of heads at one point that did lean in his favor this time because it caught Nemkov on the chin. So it rocked them just a little bit. It was unintentional. It just happens when they're leading in with their heads. The beginning of the round, it was pretty decent for Nemkov. The middle parts with the pressure and the damage from Corey, especially after that little exchange from the headbutt, he was able to follow up and do some damage. I gave him that third round, but you can give it to Nemkov too. It's pretty close. It really depends. 29-28, Nemkov going into the fourth. Low kick from Nemkov was making Corey take pause. It was messing up his movements. This fight is kind of a shit show for Corey. By the fourth round, you can kind of tell that whatever game plan he had was not fucking working. And I don't know what he was doing. Dude, he never pressured early like he should have. Nemkov ends up... Oh, yeah. Nemkov spit out his mouth guard in the third round. Then he spit out his mouth guard here in this one. Corey spends 15 seconds resetting after every exchange, and that gave Nemkov time to recover. So anytime Corey would lunge in, anytime Nemkov would throw a couple jabs, anytime he would go for a takedown, which was few and far between, anytime any of that stuff would happen, Corey would bounce, reset, and stand around and get, then Nemkov would land 2 or 3 pot shots, and then, Corey wouldn't throw anything, and then all of a sudden now they go for another exchange. He doesn't land anything super, really significant, and then we end up, with him resetting again. Ugh. Nemkov banked another round. Corey just wasn't doing enough. He had no pressure. He wasn't landing. 39-37 in favor of Nemkov. You could have it 40-36. And then, oh yeah, the announcers, Ronaldo was talking about there could be a trilogy fight. That doesn't mean anything because Corey doesn't get the $1 million. Nemkov gets the $1 million because it was on the line for this fight. But it's if they don't have another tournament, there's no $1 million on the line for the next one. So Anderson gets fucked out of $1 million, and Nemkov gets a pass, gets to recover, gets a fucking 180 days to come up with a game plan and literally only go practice wrestling to fight Corey Anderson. And he gets another chance at $1 million. And the first time he was getting his fucking ass kicked and got saved. And he's lucky that it happened when it did, because had it gone any further, because it was an unintentional foul, it would have gone Anderson's way. No, it wouldn't, because it's a foul. No, I don't remember. Yeah, because you can't win the title on a foul. But you can win. Can you win the fight? I don't remember. But anyway, no, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. I'm not mad that Nemkov won. That's fine. Also, he spit his fucking mouth guard out in the last round, like for a third time. This was really just a stinker from Corey, man. You know, he blew it. He blew it. He had plenty of time to train. He knew exactly what to do, and Nemkov he readjusted. He did a better job making the adjustments for this fight. You know, Anderson just didn't get it done. I figure after that first round, he was going to start pressuring more and going for takedowns. He didn't. Like they were saying, like he failed on 13 attempts. 13 attempts over 25 minutes is not a lot. One attempt every 2 minutes? That's terrible. A little more than 2 a round? That's nothing. That's nothing. He wasn't even going in on the clinch. Nemkov was purely defensive when it came to the takedown stuff, which is fine. And he stayed up on his feet. I mean, the fact that he was able to learn how to do that in like 6 months is impressive, by the way, because Corey Anderson's a very good wrestler. But there's no way in hell that he could have kept up with Corey wrestling for 5 rounds. But that's not what we had here. We had Corey standing around, winging big shots, trying to get a knockout. I don't know if it's because he's at home, you know, because he's from, you know, the Chicagoland area. Actually, I don't know if he is. I know he's from Illinois, but people say they're from Chicago and they're from fucking Monmouth. If you don't know, it's like hours away. It's like in the middle of fucking Illinois. Why is this not focusing? Really likes focusing on the mic. Anyway, congratulations to Nemkov. Fuck Bellator for taking $1 million away from him for some stupid bullshit. And yeah, a stinker from Anderson. He just didn't get it done. Oh, by the way, if you're looking for a breakdown of specific fights, timestamps are down below. I forgot to mention that at the top. Sorry. All right. This fight was fun, huh? Patricky Pitbull versus Usman Nurmagomedov, huh? Fun, yeah? No, not fun. This is one-sided, and it's one of those ones where it's one-sided and very boring. You know, here's the thing. Someone criticized my one of the last videos I put out about the title fight, saying it was boring. Instead of just disagreeing, just saying like, oh yeah, it was boring, which is fine. If you thought it was interesting, why don't you enlighten me? Tell me what you thought was interesting about the fight. Therefore, maybe I can have a different viewpoint going into the next one. Maybe there's something I missed. Maybe there's something I'm not looking at in depth enough, right? Maybe you are finding something that you enjoy, and I could also enjoy that. I'm not being critical. I'm genuinely curious. Also, enjoyment is pretty fucking subjective. So just because I think something's boring doesn't mean you have to think it's boring too. So anyway, so many kicks from Usman. Not a ton of power on them, but it doesn't really matter because Pitbull's not landing anything. Anyway, Pitbull was waiting around. Usman not committing, just poking from the outside because he could, because Pitbull didn't move in. Oh, yeah, Nurmagomedov wins the title, by the way. It was a one-sided round for Usman for sure. This first round was all Usman, 10-9. God. feel like ass. Ooh, okay. Pitbull actually was countering, landing some good kicks and swinging, but then Usman landed a left hand. It looked like it staggered him, but when you watched on the replay, he didn't stagger him. It was just off. He pushed him off balance, went down for a takedown, and spent the rest of the time on top. Dude, he was landing damage. I mean, Pitbull was doing a decent job defending, but he just had his way with him for the rest of the round. That was a 10-8 round if I've ever seen one. So I had a 20-17 going into the third. Usman was digging for a takedown, and Pitbull defended really well, back to picking apart on the feet. So he attempted a couple takedowns, but then he went right back to picking them apart on the feet. Usman's output did go down a little bit in this third round, and he was circling the outside, throwing jabs and trying to level change, but then he picked it right back up at the halfway mark in this third round. Usman was not afraid to throw at range because Pitbull can't reach him. He wasn't afraid to move in because he could get the takedown if he tried, and he wasn't worried about Pitbull taking him down. Boos from the crowd, not liking two counter fighters out there, and that's the way these fights go, guys. I have a 30-26 for Usman. So this is what happens when you have two counter fighters, two counter strikers against each other. You'll often have someone who has to take the lead, doesn't want to, but begrudgingly does it because otherwise nothing happens. And then you could even see here in the fifth round, or this fourth round, actually, Pitbull was able to drop his hands and stand still, but not get hit. So what does that tell you? So if you are able to drop your hands and stand still, and your opponent is first of all so far away from you that he can't engage immediately, and then when you do that, he's not able to engage or not willing to engage, what that's telling you is he's most likely also looking to counter. It's not always the case, but it definitely was here. So Pitbull was able to stand still, put his hands down, and not even move or to try and defend himself. And he never got touched, right? So what's that saying? Usman was trying to counterstrike. Pitbull was trying to counterstrike. And then we end up with this, So Pitbull was actually leading the dance a majority of the time in these first couple rounds, and that's what Usman's taking advantage of that. He was poking and prodding as Pitbull was moving in. He would use his kicks to keep distance and not allow Pitbull to get anywhere near him to hit. It was a great performance. Don't get it twisted. Usman, this was picture perfect. You want to win, this is how you do it. If you have these abilities, why wouldn't you use them? A beautiful performance by Usman here. This last round was kind of a snooze fest. Pitbull was able to, because Pitbull pressured real hard, and then Usman went for a takedown because he didn't want to deal with that. He finally got one. I think on the second attempt, he ended up getting a takedown, and then he stayed on top. And Pitbull tried to escape once, but then ended up getting mounted because of it. And then he reversed, and with 50 seconds left, they were back standing. He didn't really show the sense of urgency right away. Pitbull didn't, that is. And then Usman was running around. Like, he was literally running away in this last round. I mean, Pitbull did it earlier. I think it was either the third or the fourth. I think it was the third round where Usman grabbed his legs, and Pitbull just turned and ran along the side of the cage to avoid the grappling exchange. So it's not like when you have moments where both fighters in a fight literally turn their back and run away, maybe it's not the best fight. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not saying it wasn't a great performance by Usman. What I'm saying is it wasn't fun to watch, right? When you have a one-sided, even a one-sided beatdown isn't fun to watch, and this wasn't that either. This was there was one round like that, but this was a one-way poke fest. I had it 50-44. Two judges saw it that way as well. Congratulations to Usman. Great win for him, and Nurmagomedov name gets another belt attached to it. Fucking crazy. I mean, he's not Khabib's brother. He's Khabib's cousin, but it's still, still family. All right, Timur Khizriev versus Daniel Weichel. Yes, So Timur seems to be landing a lot more, and he did land a front kick to start the fight, but no takedowns halfway through the round. Daniel was darting in to kind of get into striking range, and every time he would dart in, he would take the worst of it. He would get countered and take more damage. Daniel actually used in his first round, he used a cartwheel to escape the takedown. It's probably the coolest thing that happened in the first round. He was still getting tagged, taking a ton of damage. This fight was pretty one way as well. Timur ends up getting the decision win here. So Timur landed way more damage in this first round. Obviously, he did way more because Daniel didn't give anything back. Didn't do anything to him. Second round here, Daniel was out of range for some of his big shots, and when he does go in, he's getting countered. Like I said, that was happening in the first round. He just couldn't find the good range. Like every time he would try to go in where he could strike, he would get tagged, and every time he'd stay out, he would also get tagged. It's just he just didn't have a lot of answers. They kept talking about speed from Timur, but that wasn't it. It was really the range management. Obviously, speed played a factor, but I don't feel like that was the biggest factor. In this round, we had a full minute of Timur standing up and kicking the butt of Daniel when he was on his back. So that's fun. We all love to see that in MMA. I hate that shit. Knock that shit off. I really do. Like, it's either up or down. You're not finishing the fight via butt kicks. All it is delay. It's tantamount to lack of aggression. Delaying the it's not called delay of game. I forget what it's called. Stalling. Daniel just isn't committing enough, and he doesn't have the volume. So one of the things that he was doing was every time he would enter, he would throw a 1-2, and he wouldn't land, and then he would try to exit, but he would get tagged on the way out. So every time he would move in, Timur he dodges one shot or blocks it, and then maybe dodges a second one, or he gets touched by it, but then he'll counter with 2 or 3. But usually he dodges both, or he's out of range of both, and then he moves into counter. So if Daniel had gone for 3s and 4s and stayed in the pocket, maybe we could have seen him. It was very similar to the main event. Not the main event, to the Usman fight, right? Where not as far as like the kicking and all the other stuff goes, but as far as like the range management and throwing combinations, keeping the aggression, committing. Daniel didn't have it. Till this last round, Daniel got a takedown, took the back for a while, great move, and he was actually going for it in the third round, knowing he needed a finish. Timur did a good job staying safe, shucked him off. He avoided an armbar. Daniel landed a jumping knee. Looked like it stunned Timur just a little bit, but he did recover pretty fast. And just a great fight from Timur. If you gave that last round to Weichel, that's fine. I gave it to Timur anyway, so I had it 30-27. Inconsequential last round, to be honest with you. Oh, man, I do not feel good. I have been, like, super sick all day. Actually, not all day, but, Tyrell Fortune versus Daniel James. Gotta love a guy with 2 first names. I'm kidding. It's weird. So, Daniel James is from Chicago, so he got a big pop from the crowd here. This is his second stint in the Bellators, and Tyrell Fortune was ranked. I think Tyrell Fortune was ranked 5th. Yeah, we look here. So Tyrell Fortune was ranked 5th. So technically speaking, I guess Daniel James is ranked 5th now. I don't know how they do their rankings. Can't be better than the UFC's, and theirs is bad. So anyway, Fortune went to the well too many times really early in this first round. He threw 3 naked low kicks in a row, and James caught the last one, pushed him forward, and got him against the fence. Fortune worked to get the takedown after there was a pause for a low blow from him. Also, there was a woman screaming like she was being stabbed for James to dig an underhook He was like, I don't know who you are. Very energetic. I don't know. I don't know if you know him. Good advice. It was noticeable. I'm not criticizing this person because it's not like she was saying something stupid, digging for an underhook when you're, sitting on your butt against a cage. That's something you should do so you can get a better position so you can either reverse or, work your way to standing back up. So getting an underhook, that's a part of the game plan there. That's good. It was just noticeable, very noticeable when you hear a woman in the back like, I was like, holy shit. Fortune actually ended up getting the back and worked his way for a rear naked choke. But then right at the end of this first round, James worked his way on top and started with some ground and pound to end the round for like the last, I think it was like 14, 15 seconds. But he did grab the fence to turn himself around. So fucking cheating. Kind of bullshit. But whatever. That first round was Fortune's, though. I feel like he did enough. I don't want to give it to James either because he fucking cheated to get that position. Like, I feel like if you cheat to score damage, like that shouldn't count for you. I know that's not how it works, but it shouldn't. And this is my scorecard, so I get to fucking decide it. Plus, it doesn't matter because he got to finish in the second round anyway. James ends up landing a huge right uppercut and put Fortune down and followed up with some elbows to get the TKO finish. Some of them were to the back of the head, but it's not the worst thing I've seen. I've seen much, 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 much worse. Okie dokie. And the first fight on the main card here, Roman Faraldo versus Levan Chokheli. Again with the cheating. Again with the fucking cheating, these guys. Anyway, Faraldo got cracked early, and while he was lifted, yeah, it happened almost immediately, so we can talk about it. Faraldo got cracked early, and while he was being lifted, he grabbed the cage to stop himself from being slammed down. That's straight bullshit. So Chokheli landed some hooks and stunned him with a left. They were both throwing really hard, but Levan was landing way more. Faraldo got a takedown, and he went right into mount. It must be nice to get a takedown with your opponent not grabbing the fence. That must be nice. I think your opponent probably would have appreciated that too. But, you do you. But he lost position anyway because fuck this guy. Dude, he straight up, held the fence, and he got a point deducted later for it in the second round, too. So, this dude, deserves to fucking lose. I am actively rooting against you when you do that shit. Grabbing a cage in a transition, accidentally having your fingers go in, those kinds of things, shit happens. I still maintain you should lose position immediately. But shit can happen. But actively doing it, he did it 3 times, not 2. But the second time wasn't as bad, and it didn't really change position. But the third time it did. Here's the weird thing again. Go figure. Bellator's commentary was really leaning towards Faraldo, saying that Chokheli needed to do damage to win this round. Fuck off. Dude, Chokheli was doing better this entire first round. You know why they were leaning towards Faraldo? Because he's a ranked Bellator fighter. Right? Yeah, he's number 10. Can't imagine why and the other guy is not ranked at all. Can't imagine why he's talking about him that way. Anyway, Levan did more damage and had better positional advantage in the second round or in this first round, so easily for him for Chokheli. I had him win that round 10-9. Both guys were throwing hard to start the second round. Most of it was blocked. Then Levan got the takedown again. Faraldo landed a right hand that stunned Chokheli and put him to the ground. Nice fence grab again from Faraldo to stop a takedown. This time he did get a point taken, so now he ends the round. But he did end the round in mount, and he was doing damage from mount. So the motherfucker got to cheat to get a better position, and would he have gotten mount if he didn't cheat? We don't know, but he cheated, and it clearly affected the ground position. He gets in mount, and then he's able to do damage that he maybe wouldn't be able to do. Fucking horseshit. Anyway, he lost a point. Thank God. So at least this round, it's 19-18. He did win the round, but it's a 9-9 round. And then both guys were standing flat and throwing big shots at each other. Then Levan got another takedown. Levan spent the rest of the round on top. Good for him. Fuck this guy. 29-27. Sorry. I can't stand that shit, man. Like, you can't cheat that many times. You like, the joke is you get one. You get one of each foul. You get one nut kick, one eye poke, one fence grab, a couple. You get like 5 or 6 shots to the back of the head. Fingers and gloves, you get at least one of those. I mean, hell, that's how you can win a title, Charles Oliveira. So, hell, man, like, you get one of a bunch of those, but you can't do the same one 3 fucking times. Anyway, that is it for the main card. If you're looking for the prelims, I'm going to do that in another video tomorrow. I just want to get this out tonight. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you know the next videos are coming out. If you do like breakdowns, if you like stuff, if you disagree with me, that's fine. Just keep it constructive, man. Keep it productive. Let's talk about what you thought about the fights. Did you enjoy them a lot more than I did? Maybe me being sick is not helping my enjoyment watching these fights. So there's a lot that goes into it. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. If this is the only video you end up watching this weekend, I really appreciate it. I do. Thank you for spending time here. If you are looking for the other stuff, like I said, the rest of the weekend fights will be in the next couple videos, so go ahead and stop over there if you're looking for them. Have an amazing week, and I love y'all.